Hello, welcome to the Apparent Voice. This is your host, Bernita Bradley. This is September 4th, y'all. Uh, as you know, most of our schools are about to be in or they are in. We have a wonderful long weekend coming up. But before we go into this wonderful long weekend, we just wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on in education right now with parents and how parents are feeling. We got different groups of parents, right? Some who've already started this journey, and then we got parents who are on the journey, on the way to starting school, no matter what type of school they're doing. But in Detroit, we've had. I just wanted to talk to some of the parents who's been dealing with schooling already, and just acknowledge one thing before we go to that, that the National Parent Union will begin our surveys, and we will be hosting monthly surveys for families to continuously find out how you are feeling about education, about your child's education, and how it's changing, and what how you see us all like reimagining education, and we'll be reporting that out to people to let them know this is not working or this is working, right? Or these are some ideas that could work better, or thank yous or no thank yous, right? Not to say everything's going to be bad, but we want to know. We want to know from parents, and parents are the only ones who can inform us about what's going on with parents. And so, with that being said, I've invited one of our wonderful Detroit parents on, and Stacy is known all over the city of Detroit. She works. I'll let her tell what she does, but you can come ahead on, Stacy. But Stacy is a wonderful mom in the city of Detroit who literally advocates for family and communities everywhere. You're on mute, Stacy. And right now she's doing her mom thing. She came on apologizing for doing what she do best, being a mom, like apologizing for, oh, I've been running all day and I've been doing this and I'm trying to take care of the kids. You ain't got to mute, leave them babies alone. You ain't got to mute that.
Thank you. I
They
appreciate
all right. We understand you are a mom. This is a real talk show, right? And moms have to tend to mom. I have to tend to the babies, right?
it.
So
Absolutely. It never stops.
yeah, so yeah, it never stops, does it, Stacey? It never stops. Like this is not a job that we go to 9 to 5 and we get to clock out. None of that.
No,
We are
definitely not.
parents.
Let me try to get some shade back here for you all. Thank you, Bernita. Thank you for allowing me to be on this platform with you. Um, as you were saying, I am known, semi a little bit all over the city. I work in community development, but my passion is the people. And when I say the people, I mean like our families, the children,
Yeah.
and so I do advocate heavily for us, and I enjoy it. I really do.
So tell them a little bit about if you want to share where you work at and what you
Sure.
do where you work.
I work for CDAD. That's Community Development Advocates of Detroit. We work with neighborhoods to empower them and offer them different resources. We work with CDOs, we work with neighborhood groups, we work with block club groups. We also work with individuals, and we just always want to, empower folks and give them a voice.
Yeah.
Some things I do on the side, as I stated, I've worked with so many organizations, just to name a few. Brilliant Detroit, Generations to Generations, which was a MPIH. That's really where I started, where I learned like all of this work, about outreach, engagement, advocating for yourself and for your family. Um, Public Allies. I was a AmeriCorps member for 2 years.
That's how me and you met, right?
Right, exactly. I learned so much from that experience. It's a great experience. I'm actually like thinking about, trying to channel my daughter into that. She's 15,
Oh,
and I think you can join when you're like what, 18 or 19.
yeah, yeah.
It was just a
In the
wonderful
city too.
experience. So I have been affiliated with a lot of different organizations throughout the city. Um, that involve families and outreach and engagement work, right? Do you want me to go on family background?
You can if you want to. It's up to you. Whatever you want to share, right?
Okay, cool. So I'm a mother of 5. I have 3 girls and 2 boys. So I have a child that is 1 second, son. Okay.
Your
I
baby's done. They all right.
man, I have a high schooler, I have middle school, and I have 3 in elementary, right? Thank you, son. Appreciate that. And it is a challenge, but would I trade it? No, Um, and so like moving into this school year has been, I think, honestly, like back in March when it was really weird how this happened because I forget how we were told to like pretty much evacuate the office, right? Like gather your things, gather everything that you would need. And I'm like, oh, okay, like gather everything, huh?
Serious, right?
Yeah, it's serious. And I really was kind of oblivious because like I was so focused on my work, I wasn't really paying attention. And a friend of mine just was like texting me like crazy, like, Stacy, you got to be careful. I don't know what's going on, but make sure that you're stocked up. Make sure, you and the kids are safe. And I'm just like, well, hold on, let me do some research, right? And so I'm educating myself and my family about this virus that's going around. And so
And then you had just hosted a focus group, like literally a couple of days before that I was at, right? We were at
yeah,
the
and I remember you calling me like, hold on, Stacy, I need to know how many folks are registered. And I'm just like, not a lot, honestly. I didn't have a lot registered at that particular location because I had hosted like a that was probably about the 7th or 8th one, right, throughout the city that I was hosting, because I wanted to connect with families and get their input on recreation centers and how families use them in the city. And so I remember you calling me like, I need to know how many folks are registered and how many you expect to attend. And I'm like, oh, this is serious. Like folks really they don't call me with those particular questions. So I went on my database and I looked and I said, I have X amount, but I have a hard confirm on, I think it was like 9 or 10. And you were like, because I'm not trying to be in a room with filled up with people.
Yeah.
And so I'm still educating myself, right? Like what, this virus is serious. Like you can't have mass amounts of people. Like how's that going to impact my work? Like are my kids safe at school? Like all these different things I started thinking about. And that's when I realized, I said, we're about to be in trouble, And the only reason I know that is because the line of work that I'm in and the work that I love to do and I've been doing for so long, but like just, I don't know, about 4 years ago, I just really got, became professional with it, right? And was allowed to step into that room and be at the table with those different people. And I realized like our society, our communities, they're in big trouble. And when I say trouble, I mean things are going to get very bad. And when I say bad, I mean like folks are going to struggle even more. Resources are going to be limited.
And with you doing that community development work, right? It's like you seeing it front hand, like you already seeing the residual side effects of kids being failed. You already
absolutely.
seeing this on a daily basis. Like this is what we live, eat, and breathe every day. But now here's the pandemic, and now we got to work through this.
And here comes the pandemic, and here comes their answers. Like, let's flood families with food. Let's we're saying that we have help for them, we have assistance for them, but I don't think that they actually ask families, what do you really need? I don't need 15-20 pounds of rice every week. That's not what my family needs. I don't think that's, especially a family that's like receiving assistance. If you're already receiving assistance, you don't need excessive stuff that you already don't probably utilize. Like maybe you might need a deep freezer or something like that. if you want to store some additional meat for your family. It's just I look at things from a different perspective because I have been that family, you know, that's been on like the receiving end, and I have been that person that has like worked to help families cross over barriers, you know. And when I talk to these families, what they're being flooded with is not what they need assistance with, right? Um, it's great that this technology has been issued to families, but what is the purpose of issuing the technology if you're not helping the families actually utilize it, right? If
Right,
they don't
right,
know how to use it, what good is that going to do in their household?
right, right. And then in helping families utilizing it, it's like they think the way that they want families to utilize it the way they want them to, right? But not even knowing, like, some of the communities, which is really not far from you. I just thought about that, the 48202 area code, right?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
they don't even have internet. They don't have access to internet. Like,
no.
there's a whole little pocket in our city that does not have access to internet.
A pocket? No, ma'am. There is the entire city, and all officials are aware that there is a digital inclusion in the city of Detroit. Okay, they know that families have been accessing the internet through their cell phones. Majority of families access the internet through their
Through
cell
the
phone.
hotspot on their phone.
Absolutely. Or even just the regular data, right? They know this, and they have been known this. And now, you know, this pandemic happened, like, oh, everybody can get the discounted internet service. Like, well, hold on, because Comcast is, you know, I don't want to say, I hate to name them because I don't mind naming them, but
Yeah.
they are not very helpful when it comes time
Mhm.
to sign up for that discounted internet service with families,
Yeah.
especially before March. You know, it was almost impossible. Like, no, ma'am, you have a bill from 10 years ago. We can't help you.
Yeah.
They were not very
But
open to help
they're telling
families.
everybody across the country, we give these many family members in impoverished communities free access, and it's actually not free.
It's not
Actually not
free. It's not, or we have technology for a discounted price they can purchase. Like,
free. Yeah.
I don't know anybody that was able to tap into that. And I know there might be some
And
folks out
you know
there.
a lot of people.
I know a lot of people because I don't know. I'm just like, I I'm drawn to people and their situations, and it always like resonates with me in some way, somehow. I try to like, let's see how I can like help them, you know, access, not only
Mhm.
access a resource, but actually utilize it, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the big thing. Oh, we have so many resources available. People aren't just using them. Well, you'd be surprised when I go into the neighborhoods and I said, okay, you know, I just had to help a friend bury a loved one, right? And he was
Mhm.
lost, you know, and I my heart went out to him because he was the only child, and his family, you know, his wife, they had no idea that there's different resources for that. And you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
they were they were they were distraught, you know, and
So with all that you
oh,
do, right? With
mhm.
all that you do, a lot of people look at us as the parents who got it together, right? Like, so our households are like
Take a drink of
supposed
water.
to be the idea. Let's just say, take a sip.
Okay,
Right. So
man.
people look at us as we got it together, and our kids are probably the ones that are getting it, like doing well on the Zoom calls and all this kind of stuff. So
Right.
I'm glad you spoke a lot about all that you do and all the connectivity that you have and the advocacy that you do. And
Hmm.
yet this week, so we had these 4 months of school that
Yeah,
wreaked havoc on our kids, right?
yeah,
And I think you were even talking about how a couple of your kids actually did better online because they
yeah,
didn't have the pressure of the teachers
yeah.
in the room, right? But the reality was those teachers were supposed to be in the room, but they did better online without the teachers in the room, right? And
Yeah.
then here you had this new semester starting. And what has happened since Monday?
Okay.
The kids' school started Monday.
And just to back up just a little bit, they did better at home with me, right? Because
Mhm.
we weren't back in March, you know, end of March to like June. They weren't online as much as they are now. My babies are expected to log in at 9 a.m. and be there till 2:30 with a I think it's like a 25-minute lunch period, but they're encouraged to leave their camera on and unmute to make it feel like a lunchroom setting, okay? So they can talk back and forth with, their
Even
class.
during lunch, they're supposed to keep their camera on.
They're not supposed to, but they're encouraged. That's the word I keep hearing. You're encouraged to leave your video on. Don't log out. Definitely don't log out. Because if you log out, there's a possibility that you might not come back from lunch. They've already established that. Okay. And so they're encouraged to leave the video on and unmute, and they can talk, as if it were the lunchroom. But if you do wish to take your video off, you can, but don't log out of Zoom. I close the computer so quick. I'm like, go outside. Go outside, but
go take a break. Go take a break.
yeah, mommy needs a break. I was in tears. Overwhelmed, thinking about, first off, as a mother, when you look at your child when they are feeling like discouraged or they're feeling overwhelmed, right? I could see how my child was feeling, like she was trying, and this is my 6-year-old. She was trying, she was sitting at the desk. She was sitting at the laptop, and she was trying to show her booklet, and she kept doing this, and but she was on mute. These kids are instructed to stay on mute. I don't even like that terminology. Stay on mute, stay on mute, stay on mute. I don't like that. You could see in her body language that she was feeling defeated because she just didn't understand, this is the first day, right? She's just trying to share her, I think it was like a teddy bear or something, because the teacher is telling them, like, this is a scavenger hunt. Go find your favorite thing in your household. She was feeling overwhelmed. My son, it was so difficult for him to sit there and stare at the screen. Now, this is my baby that I just first off found out that has a prescription with 3 stigmas in it, right? And I'll mention that, three hard stigmas. They said that he will probably need glasses for the rest of his life, and we just found this out probably like beginning of 2nd grade, but he's in the 3rd grade now. He started third grade this fall. But it's so hard for him. And I know it's hard because Curtis was busy in school, he's your child that's like, I'm bored. But if you give him the work, he's going to do the work, right? But when he's done, or if he's uninterested,
it's a wrap.
He zones. Yeah. And it becomes,
let's go to the stigmatism though, right?
Okay.
Do you have, I would love you to find out how he was doing before this, right? Before the pandemic, and then how this has impacted his stigmatism over the course of the months, because I'm so sure it probably has, right?
Mm-hmm. You know what? I actually have to take him back this coming week because I just had to order. This is the 10th pair of glasses. This little boy just always breaks his glasses. Okay. But I will look into that, and I will ask them, like, can we test him again? Because I already was in my mind thinking about, I need to get something to help me advocate for him and say that this is absurd. 6 hours is too much, especially for this son, and with his, his vision.
And there's been a lot of things on Facebook going back and forth too about the screen time and how it messes with kids, just regular eyes, right? And so they're talking about should children have these kind of like blue blocker glasses? They're clear, but they have something that's supposed to protect the eyes from the blue lighting from the screen.
Listen, my old boss, I was expressing to her, like, I get migraines when I look at my screen, my laptop for too long. So she bought the cover that lessens the light or whatnot. And that was helpful. But, you know, she even told me, and this was a year ago, like, hey, step away from the laptop. Don't be afraid to go back to the original pen and paper, you know, write down your thoughts. You know, you do not have to sit at your laptop the entire 8 hours you're at work, right? So if that's not expected of me, I'm not going to make my children go through that.
Yeah.
I have a really great mentor who, you know, told me and gave me the materials and said, Michigan Department of Education doesn't even recommend 6 hours of screen time.
Mm,
So I'm just
mm,
like, again, why weren't parents at the table to say yay or nay about these different
yeah.
issues? There's so many. I'm just so overwhelmed right now with virtual learning that I just don't even want to do it.
Yeah.
Um, I'm
And then I know that morning when you called, when you texted me in the morning, you were like, you know, I'm done. I'm sitting in my room crying, hiding from my
okay.
kids,
I have
right?
locked my room and it's time to be on. It's about 9, or maybe it was like 8:55. We got 5 minutes to go. I've been up since about 7:30, you know, trying to, you know, make sure that they eat, make sure everybody's logged in. And I just was like, no, I don't like this. I'm getting
Yeah.
back-to-back emails. You know, don't forget this, don't forget that. I'm getting emails to log on to 3 different platforms, you know,
Yeah.
like,
And I remember recently people have been saying, I was talking about it earlier on one of the other shows, that people have been saying, oh, you're at home with your kids now. Now you see how it is to be. It's not even about that. Like parents aren't
I,
saying they don't want to be home with their
it's
kids.
not,
Like
it's,
our
I'm
kids
not
are the
saying that.
problem. The systems are the problem. Let's
the
be
the
clear, right?
expectations that they have put into place. It's not a problem with me being home with my children. It's not a problem with me teaching my children. It's the expectations that they have put in front of us. And
Yeah.
and it's the fact that they speak as if you're going to be punished if you don't do X, Y, and Z.
Hmm. Hmm.
I
Hmm.
have emails where I already let the teacher know he's not going to be on his camera 6 hours out the day, because that's just not him, you know. Now if you have assignments, or you know, you have different tasks that you want him to complete, you know, you send them to me, or you put them on your platform and I can find them. I will be more than happy to help my son, you know, not a
Right.
problem. All the kids, right? And oh, we don't have any work yet. So what you're doing is ultimately
Wait a
like,
minute. Wait. They don't have any work yet. So why are they on the computer then?
that's what I said.
What are they? So wait a minute, hold on. Now that's new. What are they doing on the computer if they don't have work
What
yet?
are you doing on, I guess my 6-year-old opened a new tab, you know, was expected to open a new tab.
Yeah, talk about that because
Okay.
I talked about that on the show earlier. I was
Yeah.
telling them, I was trying to describe to them what the teacher was telling your 6-year-old to do. Go ahead, explain.
Yeah. I just came from the store by myself. Okay, 1 second, baby. I'm on the call. My 6-year-old was expected to not only sit at the laptop, she was expected to log in. Okay. She was expected
Mhm.
to open up a new tab. Say hi,
Okay.
baby. She was expected to open up a new tab on the laptop, and she was expected to write her name, right? And I'm like, that's great, you know, that they want to introduce them to technology, but don't try to introduce them to technology and force them to do this and say, if you don't do this, you're going to be, you know, their engagement report. I have already heard talks of engagement report. Well, if they're not at the computer the entire time, this will go on their engagement report, which is ultimately like a report card, because the
Yeah,
teacher
yeah.
mentioned they're going to send it to the state.
So
My
this is like
son,
truancy. That's a level of truancy. You're trying to get my child
absolutely,
in trouble
yeah,
because they couldn't sit on your freaking Zoom call all day and
all
listen
day.
to you tell other kids sit up straight and sit back and put your why your shirt not fix your collar because
Where's
that's
your
what
school
parents have been doing.
shirt? If you have a school shirt, put your school shirt on. Ridiculous. You're asking families to go and purchase. I don't care if it is a fundraiser. You're asking families to go and purchase a t-shirt for your fundraiser for your school.
Fundraiser for what?
Okay.
You ain't even in school. Fundraiser for
Okay.
what?
Who is that going towards?
Yo, you're not using lights.
Are you targeting a family that needs assistance? Have you even asked families, do they need assistance? I have not gotten any emails that say, or the fact that I had to get a teacher last in March and tell them like, hey, you know, we just experienced a death in our family. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why she's not logging on. And you
Mm-hmm.
know, matter of fact, we're done, because I was honestly done after I got the engagement report, because first off, I felt like they snuck something on families, because you never said that you were going to be sending out engagement
No,
reports. Who
no, no.
when what tools have you been using to report or to take track? You know?
Hmm,
Like,
hmm,
when was that happening?
hmm.
You
And
know?
I mean, and then the teachers, the teachers need an engagement report if that's the case, right? Because how many days didn't the teacher show up?
Okay.
How
And how
many days
many
did children log on and the teacher was just missing
times?
or something like that, and then they log on 3 days later and was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, well, I had a personal family
I
issue."
had a
I heard
family.
that with high schoolers all day long.
Right. And then it's like, I keep hearing like, oh, forgive us, work with us, be patient, be patient. They're constantly asking for grace, but you're not giving grace to families. I don't like that. Like, if I'm telling you that we just had a death in our family that from this terrible virus that's affecting everybody, like, why would you think that you are the only person that's experienced pain throughout this? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
the children are affected by this.
So let's talk about that grace.
Hmm.
So I was talking about that earlier, like the email we just got from my daughter's school. They went online Monday, and everything went
Mm,
to heck in a handbasket, right? No,
mm,
no access. The
yeah.
next day, went back online, their server crashed.
Mm,
We got these emails apologizing and give us grace, give us grace. Then I got this one email that said, um, well, we didn't get a chance to test the tools until this week. So with that, you guys, we're asking you to just give us a little time. Like these things take time. We are in a pandemic. And I'm up like, oh, so y'all have had how many months though to test the tools? Like
mm-hmm,
you what didn't work last school year. So why haven't you tested the tools over the summer? Because those
mm-hmm,
tools have been paid for professional development hours, right?
mm-hmm,
During those professional development hours, why weren't you testing the tools then?
mm-hmm.
But you test them now the same day that kids get online. And then
They're
his excuse
yeah.
was, well, that's the reason why we ask kids to come online earlier, so that we can all work through this together. Nah,
No,
that's an excuse.
no, that
'Cause-
is an excuse. And I brought that up at my children's school. And I said, have you used some time to train your staff on etiquette and how they should conduct themselves online? Because what I saw and what I heard was like, you know, lightweight bullying,
yeah,
towards oh, you can log on to Netflix, but you can't log on to your Zoom class. That's
yeah,
inappropriate.
yeah,
You don't get to say that to a child and then, oh, well, tell your friend, why aren't they on the call? They should be on the call. Like, you don't get to do that.
yeah,
Who is monitoring these teachers while they're in a Zoom call? I
yeah.
don't like the fact that they're recording. Some teachers are recording the calls. Like, everybody doesn't want to be recorded.
Mm,
I thought that, what, one thing I have not had heard, and we got this at Public Allies, right? U of M Public
mhm.
Allies. We had someone come in and talk about security over the internet, right? What that
Mhm.
looks like, how you can protect yourself.
Cyber issues, yeah, yeah.
I haven't heard one school system talk about how can we help protect our babies. How many?
Good point.
Yeah, we're asking they're asking families to put their information in this database, sign up for this service, you know, give the child's information, the address. How do we know that that's going to be safe?
Mhm.
How do we know that? If I'm at a workplace and I'm receiving this training, why aren't parents being educated on this as well? I tell my children already, like, when you sign up for these games and different things like that, don't put your real name, don't put your
Yeah,
address,
yeah,
don't put your
yeah,
phone
yeah,
number,
yeah.
you
Because
know?
who's watching and who's gonna watch this recording later, right?
Yeah, right. And
It's
everybody
it's like
knows now, like, oh, this school system is on online learning. Thank you, hon. You know, it's too it's we're very much accessible right now. Our entire household. I just don't like it.
So let's
I
talk a
don't
little bit.
like it. I don't.
Let's go back to a little bit of maybe some of the solutions that we would want as parents.
Mm-hmm.
So we know what's going wrong. We know what's been going wrong. And these
Right.
things are just like adding more pressure to what's already going wrong in our communities, right? What could we tell them? Like if you had a perfect scenario, what would you want homeschooling or virtual schooling? I shouldn't say homeschooling because that's not the subject right now. But what would you want virtual schooling to look like? What's some things they can do as educators right now to help this process? And you can ask the babies what would they want to see happen.
Do you guys have any input on what you would like to see with virtual learning?
I would like to see less hours.
You can have some of mine. What'd you say, Dallas?
Less hours.
Less hours. I definitely agree with that.
From like 9 to 12 or 12:30.
You can have mine. Less hours online. I want that, you know. I know things are moving along. We're in 2020. Everything is like online, but we have to keep in mind that everybody learns differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my son, who did great in school, my 7-year-old had no problems. You know, the teachers loved him. He does not like online learning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he does not. He's like, I don't want to do it, Mom. I just don't, because he's a hands-on type of person, right?
Yeah, face to face, he need that.
Face. So if they want to, you know, ask my input, then I would say like still provide, you know, some textbooks, the curriculum, put the curriculum on paper and provide it to families. You know?
They haven't provided textbooks for the kids.
Oh no.
Oh,
Workbooks, no textbooks. You know, they told me last, you know, back in March, like, oh, Miss Young, because I was upset because I'm like, hey, I'm, you know, trying to help 5 children along here. And when you make a Google presentation and you upload it, and then you want me to assist my child with it, I want to print it out because I know that this is how he works best. He wants to see it. He wants to take notes. I want to take notes. I want to be able
you don't want it to just flick across the screen and then he can't compute what he actually just saw, right?
Right. And so, you know, take it out of the color. Take the color out of it. Your presentation looks nice, but I'm going to print it. And when I print all 7 pages of your presentation with the bright
I'm
yellow,
not going to do it in color. Or send me the colored presentation then. Send it to our home, right?
Send it to my home. And that's what I was told. Oh, you'll get it in the mail. I never got it. You know, even this year, like you said, you knew that school was starting this day. Now they did this big fancy back to school rally, and it was unfortunate because it got rained out. So all the supplies they had outside got destroyed. But yet you still started. Yeah. But yet you still started school and you didn't provide families with, I don't even have like, you know, the curriculum. I don't have a schedule. I did get the schedule Friday because I emailed and I said, hey, if you just have the schedule,
that would be the helpful thing though. So we keep talking about who we are as parents. Like we're those parents who are constantly in the principal's emails when stuff aren't right. Not just with our kids, but with all the kids, right?
Yeah.
So we're getting what we need quicker. But then it makes us think about, like you were saying the other day,
everybody else.
You got a printer at home, right?
Right.
But what about the mom who don't have a printer?
Exactly.
Who got a printer and don't got ink, or got a printer and don't have the internet to access to send the stuff to the printer, right?
Exactly. Or like you said, they don't have that. Like you mentioned that before. Like everybody might think that we have it just, you know, totally on point. Like no, I fall short. I'm struggling, but I have a printer, but it doesn't hold, you know, high capacity, right? Mm-hmm. I can't print all day, every day. So if you're a teacher and you're taking pictures of the assignment and you're uploading it, then when I go to print that, it's still blurry. I can't change the configuration of that. You know, those are the type of things that they did not take into consideration. They did not think about. Kurt, cut that down for me, son. All right.
Wow.
It's just a lot of different, it's like, little things that a parent will be able to say, don't do that. That may work, but this is definitely not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
I just think about everybody. I know families. I know moms that have to be at work at 7:00. So big brother or big sister is trying to help
them get their work and them do their own work.
Do their work and be on their call. And that's too much to ask. Like, why do the children why are they mandated to be on that call at 9 a.m.? And why, if they aren't on the call, why are they going to be like, punished
If they're not? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess I just really wanted you to come on just to say, to other parents, because our other schools start next week, and those other schools that start next week, those parents and families will be going through a lot next week. And what I wanted them to understand is kind of brace themselves. Like, it ain't much changed, right? Ain't much changed from what we were already going through last semester. Like the virtual learning is just about still the same. Not only is the virtual learning still the same, but the kids are expected to be more prompt, but yet give teachers and educators all the grace in the world. So in that, I just really thank you for coming on. I thank you for,
Thank you for having me. Because honestly, I called the director of education, special education at the school. I've emailed the teachers, and I was like, I don't mean to go on. I even went on a rant on Facebook. And I'm like, I have to get this out because I'm feeling pressure. So I know my children are feeling pressure. And I know, like, you are, huh? That's my 8-year-old. He's like, how do you feel about virtual learning? Good. You feel good about it? Okay. I'm feeling,
You like virtual learning. You like your classes.
You like it?
I really like gym.
Gym?
You really like gym? Okay, good. How do you like your teachers teaching you by computer? Is it fun? Does it get tiring? What is it to you? You can tell the truth. You don't have to look at your mama and be perfect. You can tell the truth.
Think about, like, when you gotta sit at your computer. Like, it's fun to log on, but is it fun to have to sit there the entire day till 2:30? Yeah. Is what?
He likes it.
It's hard. Yeah.
I'm just
You just what?
I'm just sit at something.
I can't understand you because you got popsicle in your mouth. You what? Say it really quickly so we can move forward.
He said, oh, no, he got brain freeze.
Right. Bye, boy.
I just don't like standing still and looking at like a screen.
You don't like standing still and looking at the screen. And this is a child that has an IEP, and so I still haven't really heard talks about like how they're going to be accommodated. I did get a phone call and say like, hey, can I meet with Curtis at lunch? And I said absolutely not, because at lunch he's going outside to take a deep breath.
Take some deep breaths and cool down. Meet with him on one of them hours that you don't have no work to do with him, but want him to be sitting on that computer.
Meet him when they have, the crew. And crew is like a pep rally, type of hour. And I took a screenshot because I'm like, wow.
Your friend?
Yes, that's Miss Bernita.
Miss Bernita.
Hello, how are you, young man?
Denada. She's not Spanish. There were 244 children on. And I'm just like,
one Zoom?
Yeah. This is their crew though. And I'm like, come on. Like, what?
They always do it like when like on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, they always do it
Yeah, they do crews. Like
early in the morning when we like come in.
Early in the morning. when they come in to the calls, and then it's going to be done like once a week. It's called the all school crew, and it was just overwhelming for me to even just hear the host. You know, there's about 4 hosts, and it's just too much. They just need to reevaluate. There needs to be less screen time. There needs to be assignments that can be done at home, not just on the computer, right? Because I have a nice computer. You know, I've invested in a laptop, but what about other families who don't have that? You know, or what about, yes, they got a Chromebook or a laptop from the school district, but what about the parents that don't know how to operate? And then one more thing, and I'll let you go. We forget that we are a state that said, okay, no child left behind, right? And so that's the era for me. Those are my classmates. They were pushed through. They graduated. I have a really good friend, and she's like, Stacy, I can't read or write. My baby helps me, but then we're the parents that are expected to, you know, teach our children how to read and to write. And now we have a 3rd grade reading law in effect that, you know, I think is being,
they claim that they paused it, right? They paused it for a while, but deficit that's going on, like, it's still gonna take an effect.
Absolutely.
Soon, eventually they're gonna pop it back up on us.
Oh yeah, they are. They're going to pop it back up on us, and they're going to use it, and it's going to hurt a lot of families. You know.
And for those who don't know about the No Child Left Behind in Michigan, we have a 3rd grade reading law that states that if they are not reading on point, on grade level by 3rd grade, then they are left behind until they actually get on grade level. But the reality is, in Detroit, we only have 14% of our children, and that's in the whole entire Detroit, across all the schools, private schools, everything. Everybody that reports, only 14% of our kids are reading on grade level. So that means that's a lot of children by 3rd grade. And so that's a lot of children.
It's a lot. And then also think about this. They are going to test. You're going to test my child virtually?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, state testing.
See, you coming up with other subject. I didn't even think about the state standardized testing on Zoom.
Standardized testing.
How are you gonna do a standardized test on Zoom?
Oh, they'll be doing it probably the 1st week of October. They'll be doing it.
Girl, they gonna send bubble sheets home. I mean, how they gonna do that? You know what, Stacy?
That's why I gotta, and if I don't know something, I'm not afraid to say I don't know about this. But guess what? I will find people who know about it. And that's why I always link up and I make my network larger and stronger, because I'm like, I know some people that are doing homeschooling, and I know I can get, as I call it, the juice. I can get the juice, and I know I can pick it up and implement it. And it's going to be imperative that we be able to, like, teach our children at home, because this is not good. It's not going to work, and this is going to hurt. Just like I realized that we were in a recession, we were going to hit a recession back in March when I said this is going to get really, really bad. It's getting bad, but it's not as bad as it's going to get. If we connect in January or February, it's going to be bad, right? And so you think about the education system, it's going to get worse. Wow. The things that they're going to put on families, you're going to say, wow, I can't believe that they're getting away with it. And they're going to get away with it.
If we don't speak up now, right? If we don't have more of these conversations, and with educators, like, everybody right now is trying to work in a silo. The educators are trying to work in their own little silo, and parents are over here seeming like the complainers, when we have solutions for our own families. And if we don't come together and partner, it's going to be even more devastating on families.
Yeah, and we have to let people know, like, don't just take it and sit back and say, I just got to do this. No, don't feel like that. You know, you don't have to be feeling overwhelmed. And don't, like you said, don't let people just say, like, oh, you don't want to be a parent. No, it's not that I don't want to be a parent. I don't want to parent in this manner. This is not
Mhm.
healthier. This is not,
Yeah.
this is not gonna work in my household.
And while you talking about we seeing how our kids are, no, we seeing how y'all are. We seeing some of y'all true colors too. A lot of y'all true colors.
I
Cause
realized,
now I know why my child say they don't like you as an educator, because all you do is yell at the kids all day.
yeah. And I said to myself, I said, this is what they're teaching my babies. Like, no wonder. I said that. I said that back in April. I said, because I really didn't see anything that they were teaching. I saw that they were instructing. That's what I saw. I didn't see where they were learning. My children were learning. I saw where they were following instructions. You know, that's not
And
what I
which
want.
mean if you're not learning, you're not retaining anything, right?
Right.
If you just show me how to write 1, 2, 3, or you just tell me to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just repeat after you. But then if
Repeat.
you don't show me how to write the curves and the shapes of it, right?
In
Then I'm
high
not going to
school,
retain that.
absolutely. In high school, a curriculum that they teach to the students in the inner city or the low income areas is exactly that. They're not going to show you this is how you draw a number 5 or this is how you write your name. They're going to say, go play and tell me, identify some stuff that you like. Show me what you like. You tell me how you should write your name. Like, that's not how this goes. That's high scope. I despise high scope. And honestly, just to think about something, I haven't heard anything about like what are pre-K, what are those
Yeah,
head
yeah,
start
yeah.
kids,
That's some of my questions next.
where are they at?
Out of that, we have a virtual town hall next Thursday. And
Okay.
that's the subject for pre-K,
Yeah, where's pre-K
what's
during
going on? Like, how does this look for kids, and what's the process, and what will learning look like online, whether
yeah,
it's in person or virtual, right? For families, because
you
families need to know.
you look up high scope, you will not see that in Birmingham,
Mm.
Birmingham, Michigan, Beverly Hills. You won't see that. You won't see high scope, that curriculum being used, because that's learned through play, because folks with low income need to learn how to socialize before they actually learn. And that's hurting us.
Wow, wow.
That's
Well,
not the way.
right. Well, I hate to cut our conversation short, but we are out of time today.
Okay.
I want you to come back on. I would love for you to come back on in a couple of weeks, and we go over what you've done since, what you've changed, not what we've
Mhm.
allowed them to change, but what you've changed, and see
Sure.
if it's better, and see if that's a
Yeah.
little bit better, because we know your plan, right? We don't have
True.
to tell them your plan right now,
Right.
but
Until
you
I execute.
see where you are in a couple of weeks, and hopefully you feel a little more refreshed. Hopefully you feel a little more in control of your education, your child's education, and they feel more empowered by the changes that you're making as a mom, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
Thank
said I
you.
wanted to connect with folks, later on to just have a talk. And so I look forward to it.
Yeah. So thank you so much. Thank the children, and you go ahead, take your Friday. Y'all enjoy the weekend. Have a safe holiday. Take some
Yeah.
woosahs, go outside,
Yep,
and
definitely. All
enjoy.
right.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Bye-bye. This has
Yep.
been the Apparent Voice, everybody. Thank you for joining us, you
Bye.
guys. Bye, young man. You got another popsicle.
Another one.
I got a long popsicle. I have put one in the entree.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Bye.
Thank you all. This has been the Parent Voice. I love y'all. Have a beautiful holiday. Thank you to National Parent Union. And enjoy the kids. Hug on the kids. Love them. Play with them. Sing with them. And have a beautiful weekend. Bye-bye. Thank you, Jada. Thank you.